Imagine this. You've spent the last 3 weeks in a state of mourning. The person you were seeing, the one who called you their favorite person just a month ago, simply vanished. No text, no call, just a digital void where a relationship used to be. You've finally started to heal. You've deleted the photos. You've stopped checking their last seen status. Then, the phone buzzes. It's them. But it's not an apology. It's a casual, hey. When you finally gather the courage to ask where they've been, they don't say, I'm sorry. They say, what are you talking about? I've been around. You're being so dramatic. Why didn't you text me? Welcome to the most dangerous dating trend of 2026. Ghostlighting. Ghostlighting is the toxic intersection of ghosting, the act of disappearing without a trace, and gaslighting, the psychological manipulation used to make someone doubt their own reality. While traditional ghosting is a cowardly exit, ghostlighting is a power move. It's a cycle of abandonment followed by a return that insists the abandonment never happened. It is the most damaging trend of the year because it doesn't just leave you lonely, it leaves you questioning your sanity. To understand the ghostlighter, we have to look past the screen and into the fractured psyche of the perpetrator. They aren't just bad at texting. They are navigating the world through a lens of profound emotional instability. At the core of many ghostlighters is avoidant attachment. These individuals view intimacy as a threat to their autonomy. When a relationship gets too real, their nervous system signals a code red. They vanish to regulate their own fear. However, because they still crave the validation of your attention, they return once the danger of intimacy has subsided. For those with narcissistic tendencies, ghostlighting serves as a stress test for their ego. By disappearing and reappearing at will, they are measuring how much power they hold over your emotions. They utilize intermittent reinforcement, the same psychological principle that makes slot machines addictive. By giving you affection unpredictably, they keep you in a state of hypervigilance, always waiting for the next win. The ghostlighter cannot handle being the bad guy. This is where the gaslighting comes in. To resolve their own cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort of holding two conflicting beliefs, such as, I am a good person, versus, I just treated someone like garbage, they rewrite the narrative. They convince themselves, and then try to convince you, that the silence was mutual, or better yet, your fault. If they can make you believe you're the crazy one, they never have to feel the guilt of their own cowardice. They are architects of a false reality where your pain is a symptom of your sensitivity rather than their cruelty. Ghostlighting isn't a single event. It's a 3-act play designed to erode your self-trust. Phase A is the vanishing. This is the standard disappearance. It usually happens right after a high point, a great date, a deep conversation, or a shared plan for the future. The silence is deafening. You experience the search for meaning. Your brain replays every interaction, looking for the mistake you made. You are primed for the next phase because you are desperate for an explanation. Phase B is the re-entry. Days, weeks, or even months later, they reappear. But they don't knock on the door. They slide through a crack. A like on an old photo, a meme, or a thinking of you text. They might say, hey stranger, saw this and thought of you. It feels like a relief. The search for meaning ends because they are back. Your guard drops. You think, maybe I overreacted. Phase C is the reality shift. This is the lighting in ghostlighting. When you attempt to address the disappearance, the ghostlighter flips the script. You might say, I was really hurt when you didn't reply for 2 weeks. I thought we were done. They respond with, 2 weeks? It was like 4 days. I was busy with work. Why are you tracking my days like a stalker? You're making this so weird. The result is that you end up apologizing for their disappearance. Your perception of time and the validity of your feelings are now under their control. Why don't we just block them? The answer lies in your neurochemistry. Ghostlighting hijacks the brain's dopamine loop. When a reward is consistent, like a partner who always texts back, the dopamine spike is moderate. But when a reward is unpredictable, like the ghostlighter suddenly returning, the dopamine surge is massive. Your brain interprets this relief as a survival win. Ghostlighting turns your relationship into a high-stakes poker game. Every time they disappear, you're losing. Every time they return, you win back a piece of your identity. You become a relationship gambler, staying in the game not because it's fun, but because you're waiting for the next jackpot of validation to soothe the pain of the last loss. During the ghost phase, your body is flooded with cortisol, the stress hormone. High cortisol levels impair the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logical reasoning. You literally cannot think clearly. When they return, the sudden drop in cortisol and spike in dopamine creates a high comparable to certain drugs. You aren't in love, you're in withdrawal. Traditional ghosting is a wound. Ghostlighting is an infection. In traditional ghosting, you eventually realize that they left because they are a coward. You can move on with your reality intact. In ghostlighting, the perpetrator returns to tell you that your wound doesn't exist. They convince you that you were never ghosted at all. This is far more dangerous because it targets your self-efficacy, your belief in your ability to perceive the world accurately. If you can't trust your own memory of a 2-week silence, what else can't you trust? If you are currently in the ghostlighting cycle, you need more than self-care. You need a tactical intervention. The first step is the no-response method. The ghostlighter thrives on the reality shift conversation. They want you to argue about how long they were gone because it keeps you engaged. The only way to win is to not play. When they re-enter with a, "Hey," your response should be a manual ghost, not out of pettiness, but for preservation. The second step is radical acceptance. Stop looking for the reason they left. The reason is their inability to handle adult intimacy. Radical acceptance means accepting that they will never give you the apology or the truth you crave. Closure is something you grant yourself, not something you negotiate with a manipulator. The third step is external validation logs. Because ghostlighting targets your memory, start a reality journal. Write down dates and screenshots. When they try to tell you it wasn't that long, look at your log. This isn't for them. It's for you. It's a tether to the truth that keeps you grounded when they try to sweep you into their fiction. Ghostlighting is designed to make you feel small, confused, and disposable. But remember, someone else's inability to communicate is not a reflection of your worth. In 2026, the digital world makes it easier than ever to hide behind a screen. But it doesn't change the fundamental rules of human respect. You deserve a love that is a lighthouse, not a ghostlight. A love that is steady, visible, and most importantly, real. If this video helped you name what you've been going through, hit that subscribe button for your daily dose of relationship psychology. Have you ever been ghostlighted? Share your story in the comments below. Reading your experiences helps others realize they aren't crazy. Stay grounded in your reality. We'll see you in the next video.